The sun rises on a cold, misty morning. Below, two armies clash in a brutal stalemate. Suddenly the enemy line wavers. Soldiers begin to run. Panic spreads. The enemy flees in chaos. Your heart pounds. Victory feels inevitable. The order comes. Advance! Pursue them! Don't let a single one escape. Your unit surges forward, abandoning caution for the thrill of the chase. The ground is littered with discarded gear. Proof, you think, of the enemy's defeat. But what if it's all a ruse? What if the panic is staged? The retreating soldiers keep their best weapons. Their pace is just fast enough to keep you chasing. You're being drawn in, step by step, into a trap. The landscape shifts. Hills and woods now seem ominous. Your formation stretches thin, discipline dissolves. The exhilaration fades, replaced by unease. The enemy vanishes over the next rise. Silence. Then a horn sounds, not yours. Suddenly, fresh enemy forces appear from the hills and ridge, charging your exposed flanks. The soldiers you chased turn to fight. You're surrounded. The trap snaps shut. You are the hunted. The moment of triumph becomes a nightmare. The promise of easy victory was the bait. Now you're caught in a meticulously planned ambush. The lesson is clear. In war, nothing is as it seems. The feigned retreat is a masterstroke of deception. It turns your confidence into your downfall. The battlefield is not just about strength, but about cunning. The enemy's apparent weakness was their greatest weapon. You realize too late, you've been outwitted, not outfought. The cost of overconfidence is paid in blood. The chase for glory has become a fight for survival. The lure of victory was the deadliest trap of all. The feigned retreat is more than a trick. It's psychological warfare at its finest. It exploits aggression, confidence, and the hunger for victory, turning strengths into fatal flaws. The real battlefield is the mind. Overconfidence blinds even the best commanders. The sight of a fleeing enemy is intoxicating, promising quick, glorious victory, but resisting the urge to pursue goes against every instinct. This tactic has toppled empires and rewritten history. It proves that numbers and armor mean nothing against superior cunning. The armies that fell for it weren't weak, they were outsmarted. Deception is the core principle. War is a contest of wits, not just strength. The feigned retreat creates a false reality, guiding the enemy into their own destruction. When it works, it's unstoppable. In war, the mind is the deadliest weapon. To grasp the feigned retreat's impact, consider ancient warfare. Victory depended on discipline and formation. Soldiers locked shields, forming an iron wall. Breaking formation was suicide, unity was survival. Chasing a fleeing enemy meant abandoning this structure, creating deadly gaps. Commanders drilled one rule: hold the line, never break formation. This doctrine was the bedrock of Western military thought for centuries. An army that held its shape could withstand anything. One that broke was doomed. The pursuit was the most dangerous phase, meant only after total victory. The idea of deliberately breaking formation was unthinkable. This rigidity became a vulnerability. Armies like the Romans saw retreat as weakness, never as a tactic. They were unprepared for an enemy who used flight as a weapon. Enter the nomads of the Eurasian steppe, Scythians, Parthians, Mongols. Born in the saddle, they valued mobility over static defense. Their weapon, the horse. Their tactic, hit-and-run raids. Mongol warriors could shoot arrows at full gallop, harassing enemies from a distance. If pressed, they melted away, drawing foes into the open plains. The feigned retreat was their signature move. Swarm, unleash arrows, then fake panic and flee. Tempted, infantry armies chased, only to be lured into a killing ground. Once the pursuers were disordered, the nomads turned and annihilated them. Mongol discipline was absolute. Every retreat was a coordinated act. The tactic required trust, timing, and iron discipline. This made them the most feared force on Earth. A feigned retreat is a high-risk, high-reward maneuver. First, engage the enemy. Make the fight look real, take casualties, build credibility. Then stage the retreat. It must look chaotic. Soldiers drop standards, abandon gear, scream in mock terror. The enemy, convinced of victory, gives chase. Meanwhile, the retreating force guides them to a pre-selected killing ground, narrow valleys, open plains flanked by hidden reserves. The pace is controlled, fast enough to keep the enemy chasing, slow enough to keep them hooked. At the signal, a horn, a flag, the trap snaps shut. The fleeing troops turn and reform, hidden reserves charge from the flanks. The pursuers, stretched thin and exhausted, are surrounded. Panic spreads. The hunters become the hunted. The slaughter begins. History is littered with victims of the Feigned Retreat. At Carrhae, 53 BC, Parthian horse archers lured Roman legions into the desert, then destroyed them. Crassus's army, blinded by arrogance, fell for the ancient trick and was annihilated. Over 1,000 years later, at the Kalka River, Mongol generals Subutai and Jebe drew the Kievan Russes into a 9-day pursuit. The Russes, thinking victory was at hand, were led deep into the steppe and destroyed piecemeal. The Mongols used the Feigned Retreat not just for battles, but entire campaigns. Their patience and deception shattered empires. The tactic's power lay in its ability to manipulate perception and lure even the strongest armies to ruin. Again and again, overconfidence proved fatal. The Feigned Retreat was a weapon of mass psychological destruction. Its legacy is written in the ruins of defeated armies. Imagine you're a Saxon at Hastings 1066. You've held the shield wall for hours. Suddenly, Norman cavalry flees. Cries of victory erupt. Your comrades break formation to chase. You're swept along, axe in hand, heart pounding. But at the bottom of the hill, the Normans turn, disciplined, ready. Fresh knights slam into your exposed flank. The shield wall is gone. Triumph turns to terror. The ground becomes your grave. The Feigned Retreat weaponizes your instincts, turning victory into disaster. Mongol warriors perfected this, faking panic to trigger a predatory response. The soldiers who fell for it weren't fools, they were human. The tactic broke not just armies, but minds. The architects of deception understood fear and hope better than any general. The final act was always the same: chaos, slaughter, and the shattering of certainty. The Feigned Retreat was psychological warfare at its most devastating. The Feigned Retreat built empires and inspired terror. For the Mongols, it unlocked continents, defeating larger, richer foes. Its influence endures. Luring enemies into traps remains a timeless strategy. At Cowpens, Daniel Morgan used a similar ruse to defeat the British. In modern war, false retreats lure enemies into ambushes and kill zones. The lesson: overconfidence is deadly. Discipline and suspicion are survival. Victory is never certain until the last enemy is accounted for. War is a battle of wits as much as force. The Feigned Retreat is a reminder. In war, things are rarely as they seem. As you watch the enemy flee, ask yourself, would you have chased?